Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're starting today with a quote, one that really sets the tone for where we're headed. It's from Friedrich Nietzsche. And those who were seen dancing were thought to be insane by those who could not hear the music.
That's a powerful image, isn't it?
It really is. It makes you stop and think, what music might you be missing in your own life? What hidden rhythms? What profound opportunities are maybe just waiting there?
If only you could tune in, right?
Exactly. If you could just hear it. So today, we're diving deep, really deep into the world, presented in excerpts from the 5 a.m. Club.
And look, this isn't just about, setting your alarm clock earlier.
No, not at all. It's way more than that. It's a whole framework, really meticulously crafted for completely reapproaching personal productivity, achieving genuine mastery, and, living a life that feels truly fulfilling.
Mm-hmm.
Our mission here is to really break down how you can implement these powerful ideas, specifically how, and crucially, what gains, what tangible transformative results you can actually expect if you commit.
Yeah, if you actually do the work.
Right. We're not just summarizing the book. We're trying to give you the keys, to unlock a more potent version of yourself.
And the way the source material does this, which is quite effective, is through a story, a narrative.
Right, the characters.
Exactly. We meet this entrepreneur, Julian, who's pretty cynical, feeling burnt out. And then there's Amelia, an artist, who's kind of stuck in self-sabotage patterns.
Yeah, they both sound pretty relatable, honestly, feeling lost.
Totally. And they're both at these major turning points. Then this eccentric but incredibly wise mentor figure comes into their lives.
The Spellbinder.
The Spellbinder, yeah. And he doesn't just teach them about mornings. He guides them through this fundamental transformation, really from the inside out.
So the journey itself highlights the practical side. How to actually do it.
Absolutely. It consistently emphasizes the practical, actionable application of these, quite profound insights, which makes it incredibly helpful for anyone listening who's actually looking to make real changes.
Okay, let's really unpack that starting point, where Julian and Amelia are, because frankly, it sounds like where a lot of us find ourselves sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
The sources show them feeling just, overwhelmed, unproductive, constantly pulled away by their phones, their devices.
Yeah, that sense of mediocrity and all that's ordinary, as the book puts it, it's heavy.
It is. Their days are just this blur of digital noise, endless interruptions, and they lack that deep, sustained focus. They're definitely busy.
Oh, incredibly busy.
But not effective, right? There's a huge difference.
And what's really fascinating and maybe a little alarming is how accurately this mirrors what the source bluntly calls the collective deprofessionalization of business.
Okay, unpack that phrase a bit.
Well, it describes this state we're in, this orgy of complexity, superficiality, and technological distraction. It sounds dramatic, but think about it.
Yeah, the constant pings, the notifications.
Exactly. It's not just background noise. It's actively eroding, even destroying our cognitive assets, our ability to think deeply.
So it fragments our attention.
Completely. It leads straight to vague, imprecise thinking. Clarity just goes out the window. Deep work. Forget about it.
And the results you get reflect that vagueness.
Predictably, yes. The results become vague and imprecise too. This has a direct, measurable impact on your daily performance, your ability to create anything of real value.
So the big insight there for Julian and Amelia, and maybe for us, is that being busy isn't being productive.
Absolutely not. You can run around all day reacting to every little thing and achieve, nothing truly important. The goal isn't just activity, it's impact. Meaningful impact.
And it's broader than just work, isn't it?
Right.
The source really hammers this point. Personal leadership demands that you stop being a cyber zombie.
A cyber zombie, that's blunt.
It is, but it cuts through, right? It challenges that societal pressure we all feel, this constant push to accumulate expensive things.
The latest gadget, the fancy car.
Right. Instead of making what the book calls the crucial investment in a better self, we're so often chasing external validation.
Mm-hmm. Buying the trends, upgrading constantly, comparing ourselves.
But rarely stopping to genuinely ask, am I actually growing? Is my inner world getting richer? Julian, the entrepreneur, had achieved so much on the outside.
But felt empty, hollow.
Exactly. That really hits home.
And if you connect this to the bigger picture, the source issues this really powerful personal call to reclaim sovereignty over your primal greatness.
Primal greatness, I like that.
Yeah. The mentor, the spellbinder, he draws this stark contrast between the givers, the great figures throughout history who contributed massively, and the takers, those who just consume or extract value.
And he challenges that idea, that myth, really,
Yeah.
that whoever stacks up the most stuff wins.
He calls it the common delusion that those who accumulate the most win. True winning, according to this philosophy, isn't about your bank balance or your possessions. It's about what you cultivate within yourself.
Your capabilities, your character.
Exactly. And ultimately, how much you contribute back. So for you listening, thinking about implementation, this means your best ROI, your best return on investment. It's not in the stock market.
It's in you.
It's in consistent, deliberate self-improvement, building that internal empire first. That's the foundation for everything else.
Which brings us smack into the urgency of change. Julian, the entrepreneur, she reaches this incredibly low point.
Yeah, it's quite raw in the book.
Thinking about swallowing sleeping pills, feeling completely pushed to the edge. And she has this realization about her behavior.
Driven by fear, right. And this fatherless daughter syndrome she identifies.
Yeah, this deep sense of abandonment she was trying to fill with external success. It's a powerful moment because it taps into something universal, I think.
Absolutely. That experience of hitting rock bottom, or at least feeling profoundly dissatisfied, sometimes that's what it takes to finally be open to real transformation.
When the old ways just aren't working anymore.
Exactly. When the pain of staying the same becomes greater than the fear of change. It's fascinating and honestly deeply relatable. How often does real, lasting change start right there, at that point of deep dissatisfaction?
It makes me think of that Norman Cousins quote, the mentor shares.
Oh yeah, the tragedy of life is not death, but what we let die inside of us while we live. Powerful stuff.
It really is. So for you listening, this whole narrative serves as this acknowledgement, maybe even permission, that a huge shift is possible.
And maybe even necessary.
Right. Necessary for achieving your full potential. That feeling of desperation or just being really fed up, it can actually be the fuel.
Paradoxically, yeah. The very catalyst for your own personal revolution.
Yeah.
It can unlock changes you might not even imagine right now.
Okay, now a theme that's absolutely central to our deep dive today, especially if you're eager for the how-to, the practical steps. It's perfectly captured in this quote from the mentor.
Which one's that?
Ideas are worth nothing unless backed by application. The smallest of implementations is always worth more than the grandest of intentions.
Ah, yes. That cuts right to the chase, doesn't it?
It really does. It's not just a nice saying. It feels like the bedrock of this whole philosophy. It just strips away the comfort of merely knowing something.
And demands doing. Action. And this is such a critical truth. It's the fundamental gap, isn't it, between knowing what you should do and actually doing it?
Definitely. So many of us consume information. Books, podcasts, seminars.
We become info hoarders. We collect knowledge but don't apply it. The source is really clear. Understanding is step one, but it's not enough for real change.
Not for the kind of results Julian and Amelia were seeking.
No, real transformation, the kind that actually shifts your life. That only comes from consistent daily application, putting things into practice.
So this directly speaks to the listener wanting actionable insights. It's not about learning more.
It's about doing more with what you already know or what you're learning right now. Even if the first step feels tiny, insignificant.
Like the mentor tells them, you can know all the theories of success.
But until you act, it's just dormant potential. It's not active power.
And this focus on action leads right into that core model the mentor introduces, the 3-step success formula.
Yeah, sounds simple, but it's incredibly powerful.
What is it again?
With better daily awareness, you can make better daily choices. And with better daily choices, you'll start seeing better daily results.
Awareness, choices, results. A cycle.
Exactly. A virtuous loop that builds momentum. But the key, the thing that makes it actually work, is what the mentor calls granularity.
Granularity. Okay, tell us more about that.
Well, most people, the source suggests, are kind of stuck in superficiality, vague, imprecise thinking.
Like their goals are fuzzy, their plans aren't sharp.
Precisely. Their thinking lacks precision, so their actions do too. Julian and Amelia started out like that, but legendary achievers, they have this obsessive attention to the most minor of details.
Obsessive, huh? Like the Formula One example.
Exactly. That pit crew. Every single tiny detail is calibrated. Every tool perfectly placed. They even clean the pit lane obsessively because one speck of dirt could cost them.
That seems extreme to most people.
Right. It might seem odd, but the source says the top 5% go granular versus applying a superficial mindset in everything. Their attitudes, their behaviors, their daily activities.
And the Vermeer example, too. The painter.
Yeah. Vermeer obsessed over light, perspective, pigment. striving for unparalleled refinement in every brushstroke. That deep, granular attention is what allows for higher awareness.
So you see things others miss.
You see things others miss, which lets you make better, more informed choices, which inevitably leads to better results. It's moving from, I'll be productive today, to, from 9:00 to 10:30 a.m., I will draft the intro, focusing only on the key arguments. See the difference?
Absolutely. So for your implementation listener, this is super practical. It's about ditching that vague thinking.
Break down your goals. Break down your tasks into the smallest, most precise parts.
Instead of work on the project.
It spends 60 focused minutes on Section 3, Draft 1, no distractions, that kind of precision.
And this gives you that clear framework, right? How your daily habits, those tiny choices, literally build your destiny. It highlights how vital that deep focused attention is.
In everything. Work, relationships, health. Bringing that F1 precision to your own life.
Okay, digging deeper into our minds, the mentor talks about something else that holds us back. The brain's negativity bias.
Ah, yes, the default setting. Our brains are basically hardwired to hunt for danger, constantly scanning for threats.
Which was great for survival back in the day.
Essential. But now, in our relatively safe modern world, it often keeps us in the state of low-grade anxiety, even when things are objectively good.
Like Julian, right. Huge success, but always feeling like she hadn't achieved enough.
Exactly. Always focusing on the gap, the perceived lack. Her brain was defaulted to finding flaws, looking for problems. It's an ancient program running in a modern OS.
It's fascinating, really, how that survival mechanism can work against us now.
It really can.
No.
But the good news is we can counteract it. It's not a fixed state.
How does the source suggest we do that? It mentions something pregnant.
Yeah, the mentor observes, most people can't stand themselves, so they can never be alone and silent.
Wow.
They need constant noise, distraction, social media, anything to escape that uncomfortable inner voice, that feeling of self-hatred, overwasted potential, or just their own criticism.
So the implementation, for you listening, is about consciously shifting your focus.
Consciously, actively, consistently, shifting towards gratitude, towards appreciating what you do have, building what the source calls prosperity consciousness.
Actively fighting that negativity bias.
Exactly. Dismantling that self-criticism, that feeling of lack, being present, being appreciative.
And that quote, "The world is a mirror."
And we get from life not what we want, but that which we are.
Powerful, right. Your external world reflects your internal state.
So understanding your brain's defaults gives you the power to reframe things. Precisely. You gain practical tools to rewrite your internal narrative, which leads to more peace, more contentment, and ultimately better performance. You change your inner world, your mindset, your heart set to change your outer results.
Okay, let's shift gears slightly and talk about willpower. This is one of the most empowering ideas, I think. Willpower as a muscle.
Yeah, the mentor puts it really simply. Personal discipline is a muscle. The more you stretch it, the stronger it grows.
Which completely reframes it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's not this fixed thing you either have or you don't.
Exactly. It's dynamic, something you can actively build, strengthen, train. Just like hitting the gym for your biceps.
So how do you train this willpower muscle?
That's where strengthening scenarios come in. The idea is you have to voluntarily put yourself into uncomfortable situations.
Lean into the discomfort.
Precisely. The billionaire, Mr. Riley, shares his own story. Before the spellbinder, he'd give in to his lesser urges so easily. His discipline was weak.
So what do you do?
He deliberately sought out hardship, doing push-ups in the Taj Mahal with tourists staring.
Sure.
Yep. Or forcing himself to tackle a tough project when he least felt like it, when everything screamed for comfort or distraction. He systematically forged an iron will. He lives by this credo, his anthem. I don't wish for an easy life because there is no growth of my powers there. Give me a challenging life, one that brings out the finest in me, for this makes an iron will and an unconquerable character.
So find the friction, don't avoid it.
Exactly. Seek it out.
That is so counterintuitive, though, isn't it? We're wired to seek comfort, avoid pain.
Totally. We want the path of least resistance. But the path to greater discipline, to that iron will, lies squarely in embracing discomfort. Deliberately.
So for you listening, thinking about implementation, it's about identifying your own strengthening scenarios.
What are those things you avoid? The tasks that feel hard, tedious, scary, but you know are good for your growth?
And the book is emphatic. The time you least feel like doing something is the best time to do it.
That's the moment of maximum growth potential for your willpower muscle. Push through that resistance.
And by doing that consistently, you build more than just toughness.
You build resilience, absolutely. But also what the source calls earned invincibility. It's this deep self-trust. You know you can face down resistance, internal and external. It's about winning those small battles against your inner critic again and again.
Okay, so you build the muscle. What about actually installing the habits that use that muscle effectively?
Right. The next crucial piece is the 66-day minimum for habit installation.
66 days. Where does that number come from?
It's based on research from University College London. It's roughly the average time it takes for a new behavior to move from conscious effort to something more automatic, to get wired into your brain.
So it sets expectations. It's not going to happen overnight.
Exactly. It manages expectations and helps prevent you from giving up too soon, which is what most people do.
That's huge, because it acknowledges that change takes time and it happens in phases. What's the first phase?
Phase 1 is destruction. This is where your old ways break down. It's often the hardest part. Messy. Uncomfortable.
Like you're fighting yourself.
You kind of are. You're literally breaking old neural pathways. Julian and Amelia really struggled here. Self-doubt, wanting to quit. The billionaire points out if it wasn't hard initially, it wouldn't be real and valuable change.
So the difficulty is actually a good sign.
It's a sign you're actually rewiring something significant. Society tells us hard means bad, but here, hard means progress.
Okay, so you push through destruction. What's next?
Phase 2 is installation. This is where the new neural pathways form. It's often called the messy middle.
Still chaotic.
Can be. Things are starting to come together, but it might feel inconsistent. Good days, bad days, breakthroughs, setbacks. The new habit is taking root, but it still requires conscious effort. You're laying the foundation.
And finally,
if you stick with it, you hit phase 3, integration. This is the goal. The new habit becomes your new normal, effortless, almost automatic.
And that's where the rewards really kick in.
Unfathomable rewards, as the book says. You've navigated the disruption, the messiness, and you emerge stronger, more skilled. Julian really started finding peace and confidence here.
So the implementation message for you, the listener, is crystal clear.
Stick with it. Stick with your self-promise for at least 66 days, no matter what. Don't quit when it feels hard in those first 2 phases.
Understand the process. All change is hard at first, messy in the middle, and gorgeous at the end.
Exactly. Knowing that roadmap helps you manage expectations, lean into the discomfort, and claim that lasting change. It's a long game, yes, but the payoff is exponential. Freedom and mastery.
Which brings us right to the heart of it all. The 5 a.m. club itself, and this idea of the victory hour.
The core benefit, the undeniable advantage of getting up at 5 a.m. is carving out this gorgeous window of opportunity.
A sanctuary of silence.
Exactly. Before the world wakes up, before the emails and notifications start demanding your attention, it's time to cultivate your highest assets.
Amelia, the artist, she noticed this, right? Even though she was tired at first.
Yeah, she describes it. No noise, such peace. I can really think. Things seem clear. That hour is fundamentally different.
Why? What's happening physiologically?
Well, it allows you to recharge your batteries profoundly. Your prefrontal cortex, the thinking, planning, decision-making part of your brain, is at its peak before daily fatigue sets in. It's a period of maximum neural clarity.
So it sets you up for the whole day.
It sets you up for a triumphant day. It lets you be proactive, focus on high-value activities that really matter, instead of just reacting to whatever pops up.
Which leads to that core mantra.
Own your morning. Elevate your life. It's not just catchy, it's the foundational principle, turning chaotic days into intentionally crafted ones.
And the key to using that victory hour effectively is the 20-20-20 formula.
Right. The billionaire calls it an astonishingly potent morning routine, a systematic way to get that extraordinary head start.
Okay, so break that down. What's the purpose behind that 20-20-20?
The fundamental purpose, the why behind it, is to build and strengthen what the source calls your 4 interior empires.
Okay, the 4 empires. What are they?
Your mindset, your heart set, your health set, and your soul set.
Mind, heart, health, soul.
Got it. The core idea is that by systematically nurturing these inner foundations, these essential parts of you, you naturally build the capacity for outer success. External achievements, impact, fulfillment. It all starts within.
So it's holistic. How does that look in practice during that first hour? Let's take mindset.
Okay, mindset. This isn't just random thinking. It's about strategic thought, learning, planning, Deep reflection, maybe journaling, reading something impactful to sharpen your thinking, combat that negativity bias.
So reviewing goals, planning the day with that granularity we talked about.
Exactly. The gain,
Yeah.
clarity, strategic focus, better decisions all day long.
Okay, next, heart set. What's that?
Heart set is your emotional world, cultivating gratitude, forgiveness, empathy, processing emotions, letting go of old hurts, connecting with your core values.
How would you do that in 20 minutes?
Could be gratitude journaling, meditating on compassion, visualizing positive interactions. The gain here is emotional resilience, inner calm, stronger relationships.
Makes sense. Then health set. That seems more straightforward.
It's about physical vitality, yes. But beyond just sweating, it's nourishing your body, optimizing energy, building endurance. So yes, vigorous exercise fits here, but also stretching, maybe planning healthy meals for the day.
And the gain is obvious. More energy, better mood, clarity, longevity. It fuels everything else.
Absolutely. And finally, soul set.
What does that encompass?
This is your spiritual core, your sense of purpose, meaning, connection to something bigger. Introspection, aligning with your deepest values.
So meditation, prayer, maybe spending a few minutes in nature if possible, reflecting on your why.
Precisely. The gain, a deep sense of meaning, inner peace, maybe heightened intuition, and that unwavering sense of purpose.
Wow. So the 20-20-20 isn't just exercise, plan, meditate in any order. It's a structured way to build yourself up from the inside out.
Exactly. It's a holistic foundation for an extraordinary day and ultimately an extraordinary life.
Okay, let's get even more tactical. Specific strategies you can implement. First up, the 90901 rule and the 60-10 method. This sounds really interesting for anyone feeling pulled in too many directions.
Yeah, like Julian and Amelia were initially. It comes from Thomas Edison's philosophy of intense focus.
Edison, what was his take?
He basically said everyone works all day, but most people scatter their energy across many things. He focused his energy intensely on one thing at a time. He saw multitasking as the enemy of genius.
So the 90901 rule embodies that.
Perfectly. For the first 90 minutes of your workday, for the first 90 days of a major new project, your most important one, you focus only on that single project.
90 minutes, 90 days, one project, laser focus.
Total focus. No emails, no social media, no distractions. Creating what the book calls a tight bubble of total focus. Julian used this to finally break ground on her business plan.
But how do you sustain that kind of intensity?
That's where the 60-10 cycle comes in. 60 minutes of deep, focused work, followed by 10 minutes of active recovery.
Active recovery, not just checking your phone.
Definitely not. The recovery is crucial for regeneration. The spellbinder suggested things like a quick walk outside, reading something inspiring, meditating, visualizing, listening to music.
The goal is to shift your brain state.
Exactly. Shift away from draining, ruminating thoughts towards creativity and flow. So you come back to the next 60-minute block, recharged, not depleted.
So for you listening, this is a powerful way to maximize deep work and fight that modern addiction to distraction.
You can make real progress on big goals and, crucially, avoid burnout. Work smarter and deeper, not just longer. Put your best energy on your best work.
Okay, next tactic, the daily 5 concept. This sounds simpler.
It is simple but incredibly effective for momentum. During your planning time, maybe in that victory hour, you list 5 small, specific things you want to achieve that day to feel like it was truly well spent.
Tiny targets, achievable wins. Amelia used this.
Yeah, it helped her break down her overwhelming art projects into manageable steps. Less daunting.
And the gain here is the consistency.
Absolutely. The source stresses small daily achievements, when done consistently over time, definitely do lead to stunning results. It's about accumulating wins.
Building confidence and momentum.
Think about it. 5 small wins a day. That's 150 wins in a month. Over 1,800 high-value targets achieved in a year. It compounds. It guarantees progress.
Wow, framed like that, it's huge. Okay, what about energy later in the day? The second wind workout, 2WW.
Right. We know exercise is amazing for the brain. Concentration, energy, optimism, sleep, longevity, HGH, telomeres, all that good stuff.
So the mentor asks, why only do it once?
Exactly. Why work out in the morning and then let your energy crash in the afternoon? The 2WW is about scheduling a second workout around the end of your workday, say 5.0 or 6.0 p.m.
To get literal second wind for the evening.
Precisely. It combats that post-work slump, recharges willpower, reduces cravings for unhealthy stuff.
What kind of workout?
Could be anything, but a great suggestion is a 1-hour nature walk. Digital detox, deep thinking time, fresh air. Hits all 4 empires. Like John Muir said, in every walk with nature, one receives far more than he seeks.
Or Biking, swimming, yoga.
Anything that gets you moving and away from screens, the game for you. Extending productivity and well-being into the evening, turning downtime into growth time, staying vibrant.
Love that. Now, Traffic University. This one was eye-opening.
The statistic is staggering, isn't it? An hour commute each day adds up to over 3 years of your life spent in transit.
3 years. And most people fill it with
Toxic news, mindless scrolling, superficial chatter, a massive waste of potential learning time. The mentor challenged Julian on this, and it shocked her.
So the implementation is obvious but powerful.
Leverage that time. Commuting, running errands, waiting, use it for learning. Audiobooks, valuable podcasts, online courses.
The source says even one idea could be worth millions.
Or just exponentially boost your creativity, productivity, vitality, spirituality. It transforms wasted time into an active investment vehicle for growth.
Imagine the cumulative knowledge over a year.
It's immense. Turn your car or the train into a classroom on wheels.
Okay, final tactic in this section, bringing it all together with the weekly design system.
Yes, the blueprint for a beautiful week. This is about making sure all these great habits actually fit into your life intentionally.
How does it work?
You ritualize 30 minutes early every Sunday. First, reflect. What worked last week, what didn't, what lessons learned. Then map out the upcoming week hour by hour, from 5 a.m. to 11 p.m.
And you schedule everything.
Everything important, not just meetings. Block out your victory hour, your 90901s, your 6010s, your 2WW, but also dedicated time for loved ones, passions, errands, self-care, non-negotiable blocks.
So it builds focus and momentum.
Extraordinary focus, marvelous momentum, and crucially, life's balance. It stops you from being purely reactive. Julian found this transformed her scattered life into one of deliberate design. It's your command center for the week.
Now, this whole journey isn't just about relentless doing, is it? The source talks about the twin cycles of elite performance. This really flips the script on stress.
It does. The billionaire states it clearly. Pressure and stress aren't bad. They're actually absolutely necessary for the expansion of your capacity.
Which must have sounded crazy to Julian at first.
Totally. Most of us see stress as the enemy. But the mentor gives this equation. Pressure x refueling equals growth plus endurance.
Pressure times refueling. Okay.
You have to push yourself past your comfort zone. That's the pressure part. That's how you grow, how you build that iron will.
But it has to be balanced with refueling.
Meticulously balanced with recovery. All work, no rest. That just burns you out, depletes your greatness fast.
So what kind of refueling are we talking about?
The source emphasizes things like 0 device days, taking at least 2 full days off technology each week, complete digital detox.
2 full days, wow.
And the billionaire himself takes it further. He takes June, July, and August off every year. Sailing, biking, sleeping, reading, he walks the talk.
Showing that rest isn't lazy, it's essential for top performance.
It's not a luxury. It's a necessity for sustained world-class results.
So for you listening, the implementation is about embracing both sides of that equation.
Pressure and recovery. Push hard, then rest deeply. It gives you permission, strategic guidance even, to build joy and rejuvenation into your pursuit of excellence. Prevents burnout, sustains mastery.
Like the mentor asks, why be alive if you're not going to be totally alive? Designed for performance and joy.
A critical part of that refueling, often massively underestimated, is sleep. The essentialness of sleep.
The source calls it a fierce global sleep recession, mostly due to tech.
Largely, yes. That blue light from screens messes with melatonin production, our sleep hormone. It impairs cognitive function, throws off our whole internal clock, our circadian rhythm.
And this impacts more than just feeling tired.
Oh, way more. HGH, human growth hormone, vital for healthy tissues, metabolism, mood. 75% of it is produced while you sleep.
75%.
And that brainwashing the mentor talks about, that's the glymphatic system clearing out metabolic waste from your brain during sleep. Essential for creativity, productivity, vitality, longevity.
So how much sleep do we need for all that?
The recommendation is 5 complete 90-minute sleep cycles, which adds up to 7.5 hours.
7.5, not more, not less.
Right. The source warns that both chronic sleep deprivation and consistently oversleeping, like 9 hours or more, are actually detrimental to health and longevity. Finding that sweet spot is key.
So implementation-wise, prioritizing sleep isn't optional if you want peak performance.
It's foundational, a non-negotiable cornerstone. Understanding its role helps you protect it fiercely. Julian learned that sacrificing sleep for work was actually making her less effective.
Okay, all these tactics, this discipline, It's ultimately building towards something deeper than just getting more done, right? Finding heaven on earth.
Exactly. We see Julian's transformation go way beyond business success. She starts valuing love, excellent health, happiness, and serenity above the chase for fame, fortune, and worldly power.
She realizes nothing's as valuable as my happiness. Nothing's as priceless as my peace of mind. That shift feels like the real win.
It is. The mentor explains it beautifully. Heaven on earth is a state that anyone can create. It's not a place you go to.
It's internal, cultivated through those four empires.
Precisely. Mindset, heart set, health set, soul set, all working in harmony. It involves being radically present, letting go of past hurts that dragged you down.
And reconnecting with that childlike part of ourselves.
Yeah, that imaginativeness, innocence, exuberance, and lovingness we often lose. The key insight for you, listener, is that radiant piece of wisdom. You enter the magic by using your joy as a GPS.
Trust what makes you feel genuinely happy.
Your heart knows the way. It often means simplifying, letting go of the superficial, and rediscovering those essential enjoyments, nature, connection, quiet moments, shifting from being a consumer of material things to a collector of awesome experiences.
That's a profound shift in perspective. Inner peace, gratitude, purpose over just external stuff, embracing your natural genius.
Absolutely.
And finally, there's that reveal at the end and message about the cycle of service.
Yeah, the layers of mentorship. The homeless man guide turns out to be the billionaire Mr. Riley in disguise.
Trying to connect authentically.
Right. And then the pilot flying them. That's the spellbinder himself, the billionaire's own mentor. It shows that learning and mentorship are continuous, a lifelong cycle of giving and receiving.
The greatest masters are often mentors too.
Exactly. And the spellbinder's core message there is powerful. Gifts and talents neglected become curses and sorrows. You have a responsibility to use what you have.
And to teach what you learn.
Critically important. Educating others on all I've shared will be a gift you provide to yourself. Teaching deepens your own mastery. It integrates the knowledge.
And he ends with that final point on persistence.
Yes. When you feel you can't continue, progress a little longer. Your self-discipline muscle will be amplified considerably, and the degree of your self-respect will increase vastly.
Push just a little further when you want to quit.
That's where the real growth happens. So the takeaway for you, personal mastery is lifelong, yes, but it's deeply linked to serving others, to contributing. Persistence builds that unshakable self-respect. And ultimately, that's how you become, as the book suggests, a hero for humanity, transforming yourself to transform the world around you.
Wow. Okay. That was quite a deep dive, wasn't it? We've covered so much ground.
We really have. From understanding that modern trap of distraction where Julian and Amelia started.
Right. The superficiality, the overwhelm.
To that core idea that it's all about application, not just intention. How better awareness leads to better choices, which leads to better results. That fundamental loop.
And we really got into the practical tools, didn't we? Building willpower like a muscle, those strengthening scenarios.
The crucial 66-day timeline for making habits stick.
And then all those daily tactics. 90901 for focus, the daily 5 for wins, the second wind workout for energy, Traffic University for learning, the weekly design system for structure.
Yeah, it's a whole system based on disciplined implementation. And remembering that rest, that refueling, is just as vital as the effort.
Absolutely. Plus those deeper dimensions, mindset, heart set, health set, soul set, leading towards that internal state of heaven on earth.
Moving from just external striving to genuine internal flourishing. And that cycle of service.
So for you listening, after all of that, here's the crucial next step, your call to action. Don't try to do everything at once. That's overwhelming.
Just pick one thing.
Exactly. One small action, one single idea from this entire deep dive that really resonated with you. Maybe it's just planning tomorrow tonight, or trying one 60-10 work block, or being mindful during your commute. Just one thing.
And then
start tomorrow. Maybe at 5 a.m., maybe not, but start tomorrow. Implement it. Remember what the billionaire learned. Small daily achievements, when done consistently over time, definitely do lead to stunning results.
Yeah.
That's how real change happens.
And as you start that journey, maybe keep this final thought from the mentor in your mind. It's pretty provocative.
What is it?
Postpone not your heroism and never delay your peacefulness. Your life can fall apart within an hour. Tomorrow is a bonus, not a right.
Wow. That puts things in perspective.
It's not meant to be morbid, I think. It's meant to be liberating, a call to urgency. Choose to live your best life, your most peaceful, courageous life now, today.
Embrace the magic that each fresh morning brings.
Your transformation is waiting. Go get it.